If I'm being completely honest, I prefer watching movies over TV shows. But every once in a while, I randomly start a TV show and find myself unable to stop watching. This time around, that TV show was...
I have every intention of turning this into a respectable place of business. Eventually.
The Bear is a series from FX and Hulu that currently has 2 seasons available to stream. As far as the plot goes, the show follows a brilliant young chef named Carmen Berzatto, who leaves the life of a fine dining chef to run his recently deceased brother's sandwich shop. And just to name a few of the cast members here, we have Jeremy Allen White in the lead as Carmen Berzatto. We also have Ayo Edebiri playing a character named Sydney, and Eben Moss Backrack as Richie. For the sake of time and spoilers, I'm leaving out a lot of the other cast members, and as far as the spoiler aspects go, there's lots of cameos in the show, so if you have not watched this show yet, just be careful looking up the cast. Now before I get into my thoughts on The Bear, I wanted to explain why this video isn't a formal review. And if I'm being honest, a big reason for that is because when it comes to The Bear, I have 0 complaints whatsoever. So rather than making an entirely one-sided review, I figured I'd give a handful of reasons why I love this show and why it might be worth checking out for others. So with that out of the way, let's get into my thoughts on The Bear. Now if I had to describe this show in one word, it would definitely be chaotic. I don't think I've had any other TV show have me quite as on edge as this one did. And a lot of that chaotic tone definitely comes from those kitchen scenes when there's a lot of tension between the characters. And the way those scenes are shot, edited, and performed all play a part in keeping that tone consistent. The tone is a big reason I got hooked on this show, but the other reasons are actually the ones I just mentioned. The cinematography is something that might go a little bit unnoticed / underappreciated by some, but my gosh, each shot feels so intentional and so intimate, making the moments with characters feel a lot more personal and have them hold a lot more weight emotionally. And as far as the editing, there's a lot of quick cuts when it comes to the more chaotic scenes, but they also know when to dial the quick cuts back and give longer takes for character monologues and bigger scenes, letting the actors do what they do best. But that leads me into the performances from the cast, which are absolutely incredible from everyone involved. Most of the actors in here are ones I'd never seen or even heard of before watching, minus the big cameos and the 3 main actors I mentioned before. But every single one immediately won me over through their comedic and dramatic timing, as well as their chemistry with the rest of the cast. There isn't a single dull performance to be found, which makes it even more easy to get invested in their characters. But what also helps with that is having a great story, which is the final reason I love this show. The overarching story about Carmen and the restaurant is full of twists and turns, triumphs and tragedies. And while I love that story of Carmen running the restaurant and trying to figure things out, at the end of the day, the show is a lot more than that. It tackles subjects of loss, grief, anxiety, depression, addiction, all very real stories that, when applied to these actors and the characters they're playing, make for a viewing experience that's kind of hard to watch, but in the best ways. But those are just my thoughts on The Bear. I hope I got my points across well enough. I was trying really hard not to give away too much because I really do want everyone to check this show out. Like I said before, there are 2 seasons of The Bear available to stream now on Hulu. I'd say it's worth the price of a subscription if you don't already have one. But have you watched The Bear? Give me your spoiler-free thoughts down in the comments below. If you do feel like talking about spoilers, don't put them down in the comments here. Head over to my Instagram @TheFilmPunch, and I'd be more than happy to talk spoilers in the DMs there. But do me a favor and leave a Michelin star on this video, braze the subscribe button, and ring the bell when it's ready to serve.